Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing fine. Monsoon is arrived here in New Delhi, so the weather is quite pleasant. I hope you guys are also enjoying. Nonetheless, I have a very special guest with me right now. Her name is Dr. Shauli Mukherjee with a purposeful career in the education spanning over more than 20 years. Dr. Shauli Mukherjee has dedicated her life towards promotion of child-centric and activity-oriented education. A passionate educationist, had been the founder of Adamas World School and STEM World School, the first STEM school in the West Bengal. Under her inspiring leadership, STEM World School has also been ranked and awarded as the second best international day school in West Bengal by Education World. Apart from that, she has been the recipient of numerous awards and accolades, including National Quality Excellence Award, Gem of India Award, Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan Award, Guru Upnishad Samman, Guru Varya Samman, National Education Leadership Award in the same in the category of commitment to education, and also World Peace Award. And these are just to name few. I'm also not naming all the awards that she has received. So, a very warm welcome to you, ma'am. First of all, I'm sorry if I have missed anything important regarding your achievements. I would be glad if you would like to add something to it.
First of all, thank you so much for welcoming me in your platform today. And I'm really happy that I'm here today to share my views and insights on quality education today. Coming to my brief introduction, also thank you for that. It was really nice. Additionally, I would also like to add that after spending more than 2 decades in the field of school leadership, I am currently associated with the higher education sector as the director and dean of a premier university of Eastern India, that is Adamas University. Additionally, I'm also associated with premier educational organizations across India as well as globally in senior advisory capacity. And as a global thought leader and an inspirational speaker, I almost speak regularly in numerous national as well as international forums pertaining to topics related to education, women empowerment, youth empowerment, mental health issues, and allied topics.
Yeah, that's pretty much like overwhelming for me. I'm just saying, so I don't really have that much of experience, that much of wide variety of experience. So that's really great and overwhelming for me.
Uh, Also, Harsh, I would like to say that apart from my stint in education industry, yes, I have been a passionate academician for the last 23 years, and I'm still am. Apart from that, I'm also the executive director curriculum for Charles Walter Society for Innovation and Research. I'm also the director of IDYM Foundation, which works very closely towards youth empowerment issues. I'm a great advocate of mental health issues, and in that capacity, I'm associated as the senior advisory of some of the reputed international organizations, to name a few, that is Jimha Australia, Misohi India, and Jimha India. Also, as a very strong and powerful advocate of women empowerment issues, I'm connected as the ambassador and academic advisory of Women Reform Organization, which is based in Nigeria. I'm also the chair of the education board for Hope Ambassadors and Childcare Organization, which is a pan-African organization which works towards the betterment of women and children. Also, as a sports enthusiast, I am the national advisor for Sports Academy Association of India and also the chief of Northeast for Indian Golf Circuit. I'm also the ambassador for Wednesday Times and Commonwealth Entrepreneurs Club, United Kingdom, the Peace Ambassador of India, the World Peace Award recipient, and I'm also the international advisor and ambassador for United Nations SDGs for IHRO. And very recently, I have also been recognized as being one of the top revolutionary education leaders of India.
That's pretty long. Like I can host entire 10 minutes of a session over giving an introduction like that. That was really impressive. I
Thank
would like
you.
to, yeah, I would like to move to the first question of this session, which would be like, what are the views on the current education system that you think, like national education policy was also released last year. So, what do you think? What are the challenges faced by the current system of education? What are the views? What are your views over that?
Well, to tell you about my views, I would specifically like to mention, before I share my views, I would like to mention two very important yet disturbing statistics. 50% of the graduates, after completing their conventional higher education, they still do not get a decent job. And more than 80% of the ones who do manage to get a job somehow after completing their higher education, the employers would moreover reconfirm the facts that they are not able to sustain their jobs, they're not able to retain their jobs because they're not job ready, they're not employable. So I think these two statistics are, enough to prove that if one of the major aims of our current education system is to provide a somewhat decent living after completion of the higher education. So the statistics already proves that our current education system is miserably failing, right? And there are ample reasons for that. There is an ever widening gap between academia and industry expectation, where academia is failing to prepare the young learners to meet the industry standards, readiness, and expectations. And one of the offshoots of that being the fact that the system is increasingly churning out more job seekers rather than job creators. And also, I would like to mention that our histories have changed, our geographies have changed, but unfortunately, our education system is still the same. It is still the byproduct of the 19th century industrial revolution, which propagated a one size fits all educational structure, which does not give any relevance, which does not give any priority to a learner's sense of innovation and creativity. So, still, the conventional educational norms force the young learners to metaphorically color and draw within the lines. That is, to comply, to conform, and to compete. Every single learner is given the same amount of time to learn the same thing in the same way and preferably on the same day. So no wonder that the young learners they struggle a lot to realize their true potential. So this is the sorry state of affair of the current education system. And I sometimes, you know, very vehemently, I sort of advocate the fact that our current education system is not in the requirement of any kind of reformation. Because when we speak about reformation, we speak about mending a broken model. That is not what our current education system requires. What the system requires is a revolution. And nothing short of a revolution will work for our current education system.
I resonate to your views completely because I belong from engineering background. So I have seen plenty of guys that are like roaming around for jobs and they're not getting it even after completing 4 years of their degree. And I have also seen that they are not being taught the in-demand skills that are like required by the industries. They are being taught something primitive, and so they lag behind. Also in communication skills, they are lagging behind completely. Like people of India, like many people of India say, why Hindi is not getting so much of importance. Why people are like they present it as an excuse for not learning English, because when you're going to an MNC, they won't ask you to speak in Hindi because English isn't like a common language for the international audience. So you must know it. That's a skill that you must develop. There is no prejudice involved in that. So I completely resonate with you, and I can like relate to it on the ground level too. So moving on to the next question: is there a need to reimagine education and learning for the 21st century learners? Because, yeah, yes, you can speak.
Absolutely. There is an urgent and pressing need for reimagination of both education and learning for the 21st century learners. Let me give you two to three instances which will make the point even, more clear. If you consider the system of standardized testing that is prevalent across all sectors of education, now what does the standardized testing do? The standardized testing relies heavily on the learner's ability to conform and to compete and to comply. So the standardized testing does not give any priority or any relevance to the young learner's ability to innovate and create. Whereas, on the other hand, if you think that each and every child is born with a unique blueprint, each and every child is, when he or she is born, is innately creative and intuitively inquisitive. But what happens along with the time that he or she grows up is that due to a false method of indoctrination and a false sense of, finding out validation from outside, and also our current education system, which continues to promote a kind of an ideology wherein stress is more given to what the child can't do rather than what the child can do. And it's being taught right from the very childhood that you have to come first in everything. The cutthroat competition is so very important, be it in academics, or be it in sports, or be it in any field. So you have to come first in everything. So competition is very, very important. But if you consider the two important skill sets that are required to thrive in the 21st century world, happens to be collaboration and cooperation and not cutthroat competition. And secondly, I'm sure you would also agree to the fact that our system encourages and prioritizes a lot on only one kind of quotient, and that is intelligence quotient. So everywhere it is IQ, IQ, and IQ. You have to be very high on the IQ grade and scale. Though significant research has proved that more than 80% of your success, be it in personal life or in your professional field, depends on your EQ, depends on your emotional quotient. That is how easily you're able to understand your own emotions, how easily you're able to understand the emotions of others, how you're able to manage and regulate the emotions. So, if that is so, then why does our current education system give so much of prominence and relevance to cutthroat competition instead of collaboration and cooperation? Give so much of importance to intelligence quotient rather than emotional quotient? Also, right from the very childhood, a child is being applauded if he or she is able to draw and color within the lines. But isn't it an irony that we expect the same child when he or she grows up to be an out of the box thinker? I mean, what an irony! How can you even expect that? Because you have been indoctrinating the child to draw and color within the lines right from the very childhood. Then you will also, I'm sure you will also agree to the fact that there is an increasing, acceptance of the fact that when the children are able to come up with one correct answer, one correct solution for each and every problem, right? But there is absolutely no encouragement when the child is able to ask one thoughtful and meaningful question. So, asking meaningful questions is vital rather than coming up with a cliched and a hackneyed common answer. I mean, considering all these things, it is absolutely necessary and pertinent that our current education system goes through a complete redefinition and it goes through a complete overhaul in order to bring out a complete revolution.
Yeah, I agree to you. Like you said, everything is IQ, IQ, IQ. The problem with the mindset of people is like that. If someone is intelligent in math, or if someone clears an engineering exam, particularly in India, they start to think that person is now knowledgeable in every other field also. That's the biggest myth. Like, if a person is rich, they think that he would guide you like properly in every field that you can expect from life, and that's like a pretty big tragedy in like our society. Now, moving on to the
Absolutely.
next question. Like, we have talked much over learners in India, but what like supports the path of learning, uh, this is the very important part of learning that we know as teacher, guru, or anything other in other languages. So what do you think, what is the role of teacher in education, what is the role of a teacher in education, and how would it change in the coming years? What do you think?
Harsh, I feel that in spite of whatever changes have taken place, a teacher is still considered uh, to be, teaching rather is considered to be one of the noblest professions in the world,
Yeah.
which is able to generate all the other professions of the world. And it's still in the hands of the teachers that the future of our nation, the future of our world lies. So it's a great, I would say, responsibility. At the same time, it's a great power.
So what's
So
happening in
it's
India? Like, youth of India is not doing too much. Like, creativity is on all-time low. So what is happening in India?
absolutely so. I, you know, I am a great promoter of the fact that there has to be a paradigm shift in the mentality and the mindset. In the sense, there has to be a paradigm shift from teaching to learning when it comes to the teachers or the educators. I'm so happy in saying that COVID, the global pandemic, has actually accelerated this paradigm shift. So previously it was, as a teacher, I'm supposed to teach. But now a teacher realizes that as a teacher, I'm supposed to learn and I'm supposed to be a co learner along with my young learners. So it has to be a lifelong learning experience. So, as a teacher, as an educator, definitely my responsibility is to generate that love for lifelong learning among my children and among my kids. But before I do that, isn't it important that myself, as an educator, I also have that self motivation to continue learning for the rest of the part of my life? And that I stay committed to continuous learning, unlearning, and relearning across all the significant phases of my life. That is something which is so very important. Also, additionally, I would like to say that, you know, one C has brought about the importance of another C. That is, one corona was required to bring about the power and importance of cooperation and collaboration. But now the educators have realized more than ever that they cannot continue to work in silos anymore, that they have to collaborate with each other. And that it is actually said that as a teacher, the greatest resource that you can have is each other. Without collaboration, your growth is limited to your own perspective. So, collaboration is the key, and the second key is engagement. As it is rightly said, that if you fail to engage the learners, you end up in enraging them. So, if you don't want to enrage them, you have to engage them. So, collaboration is the key. And lastly, I would also like to mention that, this is something which I have always felt that a striking combination of two qualities are actually required in the making of a 21st century teacher. When I say two qualities, what I mean is that, first of all, the teacher has to have a beginner's mindset. Now, what do I mean by a beginner's mindset? A beginner's mindset is that kind of a mindset which is completely adaptable, flexible, and responsive towards all kinds of changes that are taking place around us and towards new forms of learning. So you have to be completely responsive towards new forms of learning. You have to have a beginner's mindset, lifelong and a self motivated learner. Along with that, you also need to have a challenging and a questioning spirit, which gives you that courage and ability to challenge and question everything around you that has become redundant and obsolete. It is this combination of a challenging spirit as well as a beginner's mindset that will be instrumental towards making a 21st century educator in the true sense of the term.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty nice. Um, Now we have talked about the challenges of current education system, need of reimagination of education system, and the role of teachers regarding that. I would also like to know about what is like the role of national education policy in reimagining education, and also how is it helping teachers, how is it helping students, would it help, as I said, to like bring a revolution in the education industry? What are your views on that?
Absolutely so, because National Education Policy 2020 happens to be a revolutionary breakthrough, I would say. I mean, it is so very, uh, powerfully drafted with advanced and progressive ideologies that we as educators, we are absolutely hopeful and we are very, very optimistic that after so many years of being in that one size fits all educational structure,
Yeah,
at least our nation will see the light where creativity, innovation, individuality, all these things are given priority. So, National Education Policy 2020 also speaks about experiential learning, learning by doing, activity oriented teaching learning
yeah,
procedure. ICT enables teaching learning experiences, and it speaks about almost having no boundaries, uh, you know, between the subject areas, which is the need of the hour. I mean, if you consider how does learning take place, learning does not take place in compartmentalized manner. Though we make a mistake as educators, we call ourselves as teachers of English or teacher of history or teacher of geography or teacher of maths. But we have to understand it's high time that we should realize that we are not that. We are not teaching subjects. We are teaching the young learners, and they are human beings, right? So the human element in education has to be retained. The human element in education has to be brought back. And I'm absolutely optimistic that National Education Policy 2020, with its revolutionary ideologies, will definitely pave the way towards doing the same.
yeah. Now, like an inquiry question, it's my question. I mean, like you have achieved so much. So, what do you think is the hack, or what do you say, like success mantra for achieving so much in a short span of time? What do you think worked for you? Like, it will give insights to people watching this.
First of all, I would like to say that I have not achieved anything in a very short span of time. So it has taken for me more than 25 years to reach where I have reached right now. Definitely, it has been a lot of hard work. It has been a lot of sleepless nights. It has been there has been series of failures. There has been series of setbacks and obstacles, challenges. But yes, what I believe and what I've always believed is that if you are passionate about something and if you have a greater purpose behind doing something that you want to achieve in life, your purpose sort of acts as a very, very strong magnet to pull people towards your vision. You do not have to do anything extra. People get pulled towards your vision as a strong magnet because your purpose is so very relevant. And I have always wanted to work in the sphere of education because I felt that it's only through the power of ennobling education that I will be able to touch to inspire and to impact the lives of many around me. So, this is what I have always wanted to do, and this is what I have been doing. So, I'm a kind of a person who has turned my passion into my profession. And for me, it has been a very, very conscious and a very, very, I would say, fortunate intersection between what I have always wanted to do and what I was good at doing and what I love doing.
Yeah, that's pretty much impressive. There's also one last question. Um, See, as you said, you achieved this in like 25 years. So, as we know, there in life there comes ups, there comes downs. Sometimes you are low on expectations, sometimes you are high on expectations. So, how do you manage that? How do you keep yourself going, no matter what condition life throws at you?
Very good question. I would like to say that it completely depends on you. Challenges are inevitable. Whenever you want to embark on a journey of success, you want to do something different, you want to challenge the status quo. Whenever you want to do all these things, challenges are inevitable. It will come in your way. You have to accept that. But it completely depends on you and your perspective, that whether the challenges are making you better or bitter, whether it's making you a victor or a victim. So the choice always lies with you. So if you are able to, have that strong determination, have that strong faith in your purpose, which I, call as ikigai. Ikigai is actually that purpose which gives you that push to get up from bed each and every morning and to do the things that you have always wanted to do. So, if you are very true to your ikigai, if you really found out the ikigai of your life, nothing and no one can stop you from achieving what you're set out to do.
Yeah, I completely agree to that. It just hit my mind that when you're excited about something, hard work seems nothing, or like happiness comes as a byproduct. You achieve things as a byproduct. Everything comes as a byproduct if you're excited about something. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So at last, I would like to thank you for joining in and let all the viewer know about your views over education system, about the challenges, about national education policy, and also like a minute of motivational session that you also had here. So I'm very like I really appreciate for you for your time, and really thank you.
I would also like to mention that I have thoroughly enjoyed the session, and it was a great experience for me, wonderful experience to me to come on this platform today, interacting and communicating with you, as well as to get in touch with the viewers. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Thanks, thanks for having us. Yeah.